Good evening, welcome. We are gonna have ourselves a brilliant night of Dota, at least that's what we're aiming for here. We're gonna have ourselves 3 games in total, 3 best-of-1 games. We're in the round-robin group stages for the excellent Moscow Cup. We're gonna start off with what could be our highlight match of today, or at least I guess it's you can say it's the most known teams from today. That is, VirtusPro will take on Meet Your Makers, both teams with their full lineup. And of course, for today, I am not by myself. I am once again joined by G-Advance. G-Advance, welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Had a little bit of a break. Good to be back. And I feel like this is kind of... This, for me, in this group, is kind of a bit of a special matchup. Because the thing is currently, Meet Your Makers, they've not been beaten so far in the excellent Moscow Cup. VirtusPro, they have proved several times, I think now, that they certainly have the capability to beat anybody, including themselves. Let's be fair.
Yep.
So I think this could be an interesting game.
I'm definitely expecting this to be a very interesting game. Both of these teams are actually in the top 2 at the moment, and as you say already, Meet Your Makers is unbeaten. Now, the teams that they have actually managed to beat, I mean, obviously, they are one of the more known teams in this group. But the teams that they've beaten, definitely not unknown. They beat Rock's Kiss, NextKZ, and Insane Gaming. So they have had a good record. Of course, they still have to face probably one of the monsters in the group, which is Empire. But nonetheless, this could be, potentially in the future, a tiebreaker game. Because the top 4 goes to the LAN finals in Moscow. And if there is a tiebreaker, head-to-head scores will count. And therefore, this game could potentially be very important. VirtusPro, first pick Amber, Meet Your Makers, first pick Naga. We see so far Centaur ignored, but I think all of these heroes we've seen picked up very early on in the draft for quite a while now. It's been kind of stagnating, the drafts, I feel. Disruptor, Naga Siren combination, of course, we've seen that before as well. And if you have a Disruptor that gets that Aghanim Scepter on the hero, that is just going to be insane.
Yeah, I mean, Meet Your Makers, the great thing for them is that they do have this combo of Naga Siren Disruptor. It's not something you see that often, because Naga Siren seems to be a very team-specific thing. Some teams just will not run it. No way, you'd never seen it for them. But there's a few teams who really do favor it and use it as a almost pocket strat. Yeah. But the great thing about this is that in this lineup, already, Naga Siren is not just a late-game carry. She can be, but she's also a great setup for the Disruptor ult, and like you said, if they manage to get an Aghanim Scepter up as well, that's a potentially team-wiping combo, just in those 2 there, because you can catch everybody in that. Yes, it's pretty hard to, because the AoE for it isn't huge, but it's certainly doable. I think VirtusPro here, they're probably one of the few teams as well that also goes first pick Ember Spirit just every single time it goes through the draft.
And they have actually played it differently as well.
They played it in a few different... they played it in a couple different ways, but I do like the fact that they pick up Visage with it. I think that's a great follow-up combo. It does mean that these two have a great amount of kill potential as far as damage is concerned. Their lockdown isn't bad either. The one problem is that both these heroes are fairly squishy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else they're going to pick up. I mean, like, Meet Your Makers, they banned out the Shadow Fiend, and, I just mentioned that they have played Amber as both of a mid-hero and also as a safe lane hero. I'm kind of expecting it to be played as a mid-hero because that's what they did more often than not. But it's Meet Your Makers that actually bans out the Shadow Fiend, which is considered to be a mid-hero as well. So that's an interesting ban for me. Maybe just a hero that they do not want to face. Maybe they want to pick something else up in the mid that Shadow Fiend would be strong against, though. The only one that I can think of, like, Shadow Fiend is just not that great in mid.
10 seconds.
So I can't think of anything.
Shadow Fiend's... Yeah, Shadow Fiend's a nice hero to have come sort of 5-10 minutes, because then he can actually start, farming up and doing things. But very early on, he struggles immensely. His base damage is awful, he's ultra gankable. I'm surprised, really, that you would spend a ban on it. Maybe they've had a game against them recently, maybe a scrim or something, where VirtusPro have tried something interesting like that, but I don't know, I feel it's an interesting ban to go for. What it might mean is that Meet Your Makers are going to go for a very passive support style, as in they're going to go for supports who both want to farm. Yeah, somebody who's going to, like, AFK jungle. Because generally that means you can't gank the Shadow Fiend as easily.
VirtusPro does ban out an Enchantress, just in case, though Enchantress would be one of the supports that can actually gank fairly early on, so kind of awkward there. But nonetheless, I mean, they ban out a support jungle hero. They also ban out the Bear Rider, and Nature's Prophet now removed as well. That is 3 heroes that can take Sanctuary in the jungle removed. They pick up the Centaur. Now, I mentioned him earlier because he's also one of those heroes that we see picked up fairly early on. Picking him up third, it's a nice hero to have. It does mean that their lineup is maybe a bit more predictable, though they have still got Naga that could potentially go mid. They've got some options. But they are kind of locking down in terms of cores, in terms of tankiness. And now if VirtusPro pick up a couple of heroes that can really early on do a lot of things, as in shut down Naga Siren, make sure Disruptor doesn't level very fast, then I think that VirtusPro is looking pretty strong. Now, there is a Timbersaw picked up, and Timbersaw, we haven't seen Timbersaw in ages. He's good against Centaur, don't get me wrong, but he takes a long time before getting a line, while Centaur just needs to get level 6.
Yeah, both of them, they can do a certain amount with just level 6. Centaur, he only really needs a Blink Dagger, though. And yeah. Timbersaw, you can get away with playing him with just Arcane Boots, but he's very squishy without that now. The reactive armor helps, but his strength gain is not that great. Really, most players would agree that you kind of need a Bloodstone to be fully functional. Or at the very least, some sort of alternative. Some people even, go for Rod of Atos, or they get a mech even sometimes. Yeah, I feel like the thing with Timbersaw, right, is that Timbersaw and Centaur, they both pretty much fill the same role in a lineup as far as where they're going to be laning. But the thing is that Centaur right now just works better because he's an AoE stun, whereas Timbersaw's just a lot of damage that's sometimes harder to hit. And these are surprising picks for me. I do like Anti-Mage versus Storm Spirit sometimes, but I feel like in this lineup versus a Disruptor as well, this Anti-Mage could suffer.
I feel like they're lacking a punch. They're gonna have to play passive for a while actually, because Anti-Mage needs startup time. Visage is gonna protect him, obviously needs the secondary support there, because Visage as a safe lane supporter trying to save Anti-Mage is not gonna be enough. There needs to be some form of disable coming out from VirtusPro. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Rubik selected actually, but anything can do. But Ember also needing a bit of startup, and Timbersaw as well. I'm finding that this could be a bit of a too passive draft for VirtusPro.
Yeah, I mean, all these heroes are great come mid-game. Anti-Mage more of a mid-game farmer than a fighter, but he can certainly fight once he's got himself up at least a Manta style, probably a Battle Fury beforehand as well. But yeah, I totally agree. All these heroes in the laning stage are fairly passive. Ember Spirit, sometimes, depending on the matchup, he can get solo kills. Storm Spirit is not one of those heroes he can generally get solo kills versus. I gotta agree, I feel like VirtusPro right now, they need a support who gives them a bit of punch or something. Something that they can use aggressively, because the thing is, right now, on the safe lane, they can't even deal with the Centaur that well. No. Centaur War Runner just walks all over Visage because of the fact that Visage has got lower armor and defensive, I forget, magic resistance than pretty much any other hero. He's got way lower armor and magic resistance than anybody else. He'll struggle with a Centaur War Runner on his own. They need somebody that, maybe even Avenge or something like that they can just roam around with the Visage and create some kills.
Yeah, I love the ban for Meteor Makers. The Shadow Shaman would have been very nice with VirtusPro, because not only do you get those disables, 2 disables, forcing your enemy to go BKB, and therefore buying some extra time for your team, but you also make sure that there's not going to be very strong pushes, because you've got your wards at some point. So very strong, and VirtusPro, greedy as they are, they're going to be a bit starved there with the Lich picked up by Meteor Makers. Another great support pickup, I find, and I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 dual lanes coming out. Maybe Lich and Centaur on the off lane, Disruptor Naga Siren on the safe lane. They could even leave Naga Siren alone, or put Centaur alone, have an aggressive tri-lane with the Naga. It's not ideal, but as you said, with the Disruptor and the Naga, they can already fight if they wanted to. You've got quite a lot of bursts coming out from the Disruptor as well, with the Thunderstrike. You've got the Riptide, the Ensnare. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Slowing down at Anti-Mage is going to be important, and Centaur can deal with the Timbersaw, I think.
Yeah, and they very badly need somebody with a stun at this point. You said it before, the Shadow Shaman was a great ban. This Storm Spirit, who's going to lock him down this game? There is no hard duration stun here. Ember Spirit's Bolas, he can still ball lightning during that, so that means nothing. And Anti-Mage, he can ult him, and that's a mini stun. That's all they have so far. that is not enough to deal with a Storm Spirit. They almost need like a Lion or something like that, which is not ideal. He is squishy, he needs a fair amount of levels, but it feels to me like VirtusPro, they've kind of picked themselves into a bit of a corner here. Meteor Makers, on the other hand, they do have great combos. They can run that Centaur Lich. I wouldn't personally want to leave this Naga Siren on her own, though, versus the Timbersaw. She will struggle, she'll get bullied a little bit in the lane, and I think one of the nice things for the side of Meteor Makers right now is that everybody else on their team can fight, and it's going to be hard for VirtusPro to actually deal with this Naga, but they actually go Axe. Wow.
If all
this
else
is greedy.
fails, go Axe. If you don't know what to do, pick Axe.
I feel like that should actually be like the tagline for this tournament, because there's been a lot of times when there's like no reason to pick Axe, and teams have been like, let's pick Axe.
On the bright side, he can be aggressive early on. There is a lot of squishy heroes on the side of Meteor Maker, so if this Axe get a decent start, and I say if because he needs a good start, because if he doesn't have a good start, then VirtusPro is probably going to be very, very shaky this game. But if he gets a good start, Meteor Makers might be in for some trouble. I feel like this is a bit of a desperation pick for VirtusPro, but it could very well work out.
Yeah, I've got to agree. This is kind of a... This is not what they would probably standard go for. And I think their whole lineup kind of says that. I mean, how often have you seen Anti-Mage this patch? Nobody plays Anti-Mage anymore. It's just not part of the meta, really. And the thing is that in some ways, these heroes, these types of heroes are still good. Anti-Mage's mana break is going to hurt a lot of heroes here.
Hey,
especially someone like Naga Siren.
Was it VirtusPro that went for a Spirit Breaker at some point, and like as the same as last pick, kind of desperation pick, which worked out really well for them?
They did. They were the team that went for that recently, and it did work out really well for them.
Yeah, because I remember me saying almost exactly the same, and I got proven wrong there. So I just wanted to, I could be wrong. Let people know that I could be wrong. Last time their surprise pick worked out. Maybe Axe works out as well. It's extra greedy though. I am very curious to see if it's gonna work. Go remake? Why would we go remake? Hyping.
Might be a server issue.
Could be a server issue.
Fata, please.
Skill. EU host. Let's see if anybody spec'd anything yet. You never know. But no skills are put just yet. Actually, Axe has put a skill. We can check.
I mean, Axe isn't going to go anything other than Helix level 1, I guess.
Unless he wants to sit on the lane for a long time. If he's planning on that, then you could. So, who knows? Well, I have no lobby up yet. I hope you have the same. That means that...
Yep.
Cool. That means that I'm not that far behind. So, oh, there it is. So we have got ourselves a team that is fairly greedy with an Axe, with an Anti-Mage, an Ember Spirit, and a Timbersaw, and a support Visage, who normally also takes a lot of gold from the team purely because his ult is so nice that you can actually zap people, so you can't really hope for a lot of gold from kills as a carry in the early game at least, because those will go into the Visage, and that's not even because he's a kill steal hero, but he is. But it's just because the way his
second skill works, particularly means he kill steals a lot.
Yeah. So overall, it's like, I just if they make it through the early game, they're okay-ish, because there's no guarantee, of course, it's still Dota. But if they don't make it to the early game, I just don't know how they're gonna get back into it.
Yeah, and I feel one interesting thing, I noticed it before the actual remake came out, is that the Naga Siren looked like she was going to be going mid for me, which surprises me, because I feel like Storm Spirit deals with Ember Spirit just that little bit better, purely because he's a ranged hero. He has fairly high armor as well. Both their Naga and Storm actually have very good armor, level 1. But I guess the thing is, Naga's going to struggle to farm in that lane.
But would it then be that, because I guess they could do that if they didn't want to put the Naga solo against the Timbersaw. Because they're expecting Timbersaw in the offlane, and Storm does do better against the Timbersaw solo than the Naga does. So they would then go for an aggressive Trilon with the Centaur, Lich, and Disruptor.
The Disruptor was in the jungle, I believe, so he was probably setting up to go dual lanes for that team. So I don't know. I think it's interesting to see how MYM want to lane this. One of the things is, of course, if you do run the Naga Siren mid, is that you can bottle crow a lot more, and that does make it easier to spam out your spells, and you technically can farm faster from that position, just because you're bottle crowing so much. And of course, bottle crowing from mid is slightly faster than doing it from the safe lane, which is actually a fairly sizable amount further away. I don't know. It's interesting to see how MYM want to do this. I feel like the thing is MYM's lineup is just a lot easier to run for them, and doing something like that, it seems like a waste of an opportunity when you have the easy possibility of just putting Disruptor and Naga on the safe lane and then not worrying about that Timbersaw too much, because Timbersaw can die to that pair.
Yeah, I think if they're gonna go for dual lanes, I would have thought they would put the Naga on the safe lane. Aggressive trial lane, I could understand if they don't want to put Naga against the Timbersaw, but if they go for dual lanes, that is interesting. And I guess time will tell. We're gonna wait for everybody to actually select their heroes. It might take some time, so be ready for that, because that still takes 1 minute. And we can't be in the game until that happens, unless everybody in the team, in the group, in the game presses Alt Enter and preloads their hero, which so far only 2 have done. So that's a bit of a shame. But nonetheless, I have to say, VirtusPro, last time, like as I said, last time they surprise picked something, it worked out for them. So I don't want to criticize them too hard. Do want to emphasize that this early game is very important for them, because if they don't get a decent start, or if they at least don't, they don't necessarily have to win the early game. They just are not allowed to lose it. If that makes any
the big
sense.
thing for them is that they want a core item on each of their heroes at the same time as MYM makers get their core items.
Yes.
Because the thing is if the Centaur gets an early blink before anybody else on the side of VirtusPro has an item that allows them to deal with that, or that allows them to fight back, they will get run over by that Centaur. And the same goes for if the Storm Spirit gets an Orchid, or, if the Naga Siren gets a Radiance, which of course, I doubt the Naga is going to get a Radiance before they have, anything on any of VirtusPro's heroes, but it's still a possibility, because they are going to struggle a little bit in this game to actually farm.
Yeah, they are, and they have a lot of people that do want to farm. So if one lane loses, the hero on that lane, be that Ember, be that Anti-Mage, be that Timbersaw, needs to get kind of carried by the other cores until the game goes well. Because every single one of their heroes doesn't really do well from fighting from behind. Like, they're not gonna come back with one big item, perhaps. Anti-Mage with a Battle Fury at some point. It's still not an item that he will make a comeback with. So it's gonna be
the thing about Anti-Mage is he needs Battle Fury plus 1 item. The real core item that you need on Anti-Mage is your Manta Style. At that point, if you've got that, you can do a fair amount, because the thing is, Manta Style plus Mana Break is ridiculous damage, and it's just a great item for getting you out of there as well. It's good for all sorts of reasons on Anti-Mage, versus Silences, versus Orchid, etc. But if he doesn't have some way of dealing with the Storm Spirit, or if the Storm Spirit, for instance, if he gets an Orchid and treads very, very fast, if he gets it like 12-minute mark, there's no chance that anybody on VP, no matter who it is, if they're gone on, they will die to that Storm Spirit. Yeah. Especially if he has help. And it's not exactly hard for MYM to move their heroes around the map like that, because they do have the Centaur, so he can make everybody faster. And, if you're running dual lanes, you do have more people at every part of the map. Whereas if you're like VP, you have a sort of concentration of people on the top around this Anti-Mage, and then G and Arsat are going to be kind of left on their own.
Yeah, Haste turn on bottom lane, which would be awesome for Axe, but I guess Centaur doesn't mind it either. Yeah, I was gonna say, you can't do that. Look at that. One harassing hit from the Centaur gets instantly a Helix from the Axe, and Axe in turn harasses Ace more than Ace harasses him. As Jodam is actually a bit sad. He could actually die here, potentially. If Ace decides to die, if this Crypt Wave is coming, at least Jodam will be forced to actually use his salve already. It's like 115
That's
gold
pretty
gone.
big win
That's
for
a very
Ace,
big win, yeah.
Especially because Ace, he's gone boots first in this, so it is very possible that they can run somebody down with this lane pretty easily.
Yeah. Let's take a look at who is playing what, so we can also see the lanes take a bit more shape, as G is already having a lot of trouble here on this mid lane. VirtusPro is gonna get first blooded. Oh, not. Never mind, searing change. Hello. Chains. Not change. Thank you. But yeah, that is a very tricky lane for him. So G is going to be the Ember Spirit here on the mid lane for VirtusPro. I really don't want to move away from this lane. Actually, I have to, because bottom lane seems to be... No, top lane rather. No, never mind. Illidan Stormrage will be playing the anti-mage on the safe lane. Will be trying to farm his team to victory. And Ness will be going into the jungle on his axe. Support for the anti-mage is going to be the Visage, played by Jodam. And then last but not least, it is Arsart playing the Timbersaw on the bottom lane.
Yeah, on the side of MYM, the farmer for the team, it's going to be Link here. He's on the safe lane Storm Spirit. His support is going to be Crit, but for the moment, he's just in the jungle. In the middle lane, it's going to be Rise here. He's going to be on the Naga Siren. And on the off lane for the team, it's going to be Ace on the Centaur Warrunner, backed up by Unicorn on his Lich.
Did you say Crit yet?
Where?
Crit?
Crit is, yeah, Crit's in the jungle on the Disruptor.
Oh, I missed him.
I
or at
said
least
that.
I didn't go to him with my camera then. Sorry, Crit. Here's your
But we have
time.
plenty of time to look at him now.
We do.
And his really ugly mount.
Everybody needs a second, apparently. Like, seriously. Like,
Apparently.
everybody. Stack. Someone stacking.
I'm so... I feel like they're very, very sarcastic to each other right now.
Me too. Are you team? Wow. Damn it. Crit's higher MMR than I am.
I feel like I could have worked that out. No, that's no offense to you, but Crit's pretty legit.
No, he said he's 3.9, so...
What a player. I think he's probably...
A little bit higher.
Probably a little bit above 3.9.
So what are you expecting for the Storm Spirit? Because we've seen safe lane Storm Spirit before, and quite a few of them, if they have a decent safe lane, if they actually have free farm potential, go for Bloodstone as first item.
I mean, I can see why you would go Bloodstone first item in a lot of situations, but my big reason why this game I would definitely go Orchid is that VP, they have 3 heroes with escapes on their team. They have the Timbersaw, he can Timber Chain out of there, the Ember Spirit can Remnant out of there, and the Anti-Mage of course has Blink. Not that it helped him.
No, he didn't have Blink at all. He couldn't even move. Nice kill, Ace. Getting the first blood still, even though he didn't get it on the Visage.
Yeah, and the big issue for VP right now is that they have this axe. He's only level 3, so he's not great at being aggressive. He doesn't even have a disable yet. He needs to get his level 4, and he needs to come and pressure this top lane a lot, because Illidan is struggling greatly here. He's only got 8 last hits and 2 denies, and Ace is basically just able to crush him in that lane, and we just saw that a few seconds ago. And yeah, VP, they just need to pick up the pace of things as soon as they have heroes who can.
Yeah, we actually have seen wait a second. Glimpse. Arsart. Link is here with the Vortex. Can he actually take him down? I think they might be able to. He doesn't have Timber Chain higher than level 2, and he can't make it across the river, so he will be stuck on that. Yeah, he's dead. Storm Spirit actually getting the last hit that was still flying towards him with an overload charge. Nicely done. And over-aggressive coming out from Arsart. And the thing that I was going to say is NS... He actually went for his second level in the Battle Hunger, which is interesting because I've recently heard it criticized quite hard in terms of how much extra thing... You only get 2 second extra duration and only 10 extra damage, so the difference is not that much.
Yeah, Battle Hunger used to be far and away Axe's best early game skill, but the thing is right now it just doesn't scale very well in damage, and mostly it's just there for the movement speed slow and the fact that it gives you a bit of a bonus movement speed as well, but they're actually going to try and go for Rise here. This could be dangerous though.
Yeah, the Glimpse is still there, but Rise still has, of course, that Battle Hunger on him, and it looks like G is going to be able to get the kill with the burn. There we go. G gets the credit for the kill, and Nespa's still there for the experience, which is important because he needs those levels. But that's
he needs these levels badly. Yeah, and it is a good kill as well. It's on that Naga Siren, and you know, despite the fact that the Naga was able to do a fair amount of work versus the Ember Spirit level 1, a big part of that is just because his armor is so bad, but the skills scale so much better on Ember Spirit as far as trying to get kills, and that's pretty much what happens. Even without Axe's help there, it's possible he could have got that kill anyway, Actually, no, because of the disruptor, but yeah, if that was just a 1v1, you know, they'd both caught each other out, nobody else was around, that's a kill for the Ember Spirit. And yeah, VP, they're doing nice things for the moment, but the big thing for me, yeah, it's this axe. He needs level 4 here. He's going to get it from this nice stack here. This is smart from G and NS. They're actually going to group up and try and take this together. NS is going to go back to base, but he's probably then going to immediately go and gank. I see no reason why not to, especially because Anti-Mage is struggling so badly on the safe lane here.
Yeah, he's got 16 last hits, and on top of that, I mean, he's level 4, which is not bad at all, but you have to consider that that Lich is constantly denying creeps. He is going to do it again right now. He's making sure that he's not denying creeps that are close by Anti-Mage, so no extra experience going to that Anti-Mage. And it is hurting him. He needs levels, he needs his farm, and he is not really getting a lot of either at the moment. While at the same time, Storm Spirit as well as Naga Siren, they are on top of the last hits in the nice list. They are doing just very well. Ember is only just catching up, or in terms of last hits, he's only a little behind Rise. But that's also because of the small camp, or the camp he just took down. Not a small camp, but some of those were of course skeletons. And those do count as last hit, but they only give like 8 gold, so there you have that. We do have a rotation with a smoke up though, with G and NS looking for a kill. A smoke.
This is a difficult kill to get, and Unicorn, actually they're going to try and catch out Unicorn. He's going to back off here to use his sacrifice, but it seems like that he almost knows that they're there. I mean, G has been missing from the middle lane for a while. They must know that NS, he would either be level 5 now from his farming, or you know, he must be trying to gank, but they're going to go for him now. It looks like Ace might be caught out here.
Yeah, let's see. Ace, looking for a stomp. In comes the Berserker's Call first, though, and Ace is going to be only there with G. Still has the stun. Wants to save it. Gets the stun, but it gets dodged. And Ace, one more hit to go down. Illidan jumps forward, gets the kill in the end. As we have the Visage trying to make some plays here, but he'll just get picked up. Still landed a Soul Assumption on Unicorn, though, who is still going to go down. So they get 2 for 1 in the end. Link is still here, and he did get that extra kill, so he now has 2 kills to his name. He's level 8. He is doing really well, and as you said, he is probably going for that Orchid, picking up 2 Sage Masks already. Teleporting coming from the Centaur, but he is not going to be making anything happen. He's not level 6 yet. They can't chase.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a pretty smart dive from the side of VP. Obviously, they commit a lot to go for that. The Storm Spirit does come in. He does get himself the kill on that. But in the meantime, this is just more space that VP are getting. Arsart now is going to be farming basically free on this bottom lane here. He's managed to get himself level 6 in his Arcane Boots. He doesn't have the mana to kill Crit right now. If he had full mana, maybe he'd have a chance, but it wouldn't exactly be easy. But now they've got level 6 on him. G is farming up well as well now. He's not doing fantastically, but he's certainly doing better than he was. And, you know, the Axe is having an impact. The Anti-Mage, he gets himself a kill during that as well. He gets a Ring of Health. And this will just allow him to be a little bit more sustainable in the lane. That said, the pressure is not over. They still need help up here. I mean, the Visage is missing and they still need help, but actually they're going on Arsart bottom lane.
Yeah, Glim's back into the kinetic field and the Static Storm, and that means that G, with the smoke, is too late to make anything happen anymore. He is going to find himself an illusion. No, the illusion.
He might get crit.
Tower is under attack.
He's going to try. The chains come out. Is there enough damage? The shield, the flame guard's actually level 4, but the teleport out is gonna be keeping crit safe.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the highest DPS build for this stage of the game, but it's simply not enough versus a TP scroll. He'd need more. There's nothing you can basically do, you know? He's already used his disable.
Basically.
Yeah, and he couldn't have done that because otherwise the Disruptor was just going to walk away. Yeah. So he did the best he could, but yeah, the loss of the Timbersaw there, that means it ends up being a wasted rotation from G. He does manage to force a TP out, but that's not exactly a big thing for him.
Well.
Yeah, it's 135 gold as opposed to a kill, which is worth a little bit more than that, plus gold lost, and yeah, it's nothing huge, but it looks like they're actually going to group up top here. NS has hit 6, so this is an important time for him, because they can snowball in the fight. You know, he can get the one Culling Blade down, and then immediately follow it with another, but they're going to go for Ace here.
Here comes the call, the Centaur Stampede, not enough, but Lich Ultimate jumping around. Nice movement from the Anti-Mage, stopping that Chain Frost from going through, but Axe still died, and they still didn't get Ace in return. In comes a Glimpse, Anti-Mage not gonna get anything out of this one. Has to run back as Ace now looks to try to find a stun on Arsart. He gets it too. Static Storm, no Timber Chain away, and Disruptor gets a killing blow. That turns into a 2-on-0 while the initiation came from VirtusPro.
Yeah, and the big thing there really was that lit shot. It forced the Anti-Mage to have to go back. He did position himself well by going back, but actually, G's going to come in with a double damage rune. This could be incredibly dangerous. They're trying to dive the tower here. Do they know where Link is?
No, well, the ping comes out. Ping from Ember comes out, so they should.
There's no remnants
on
Ember.
Oh, yeah, they do. He tries it with the Slayer Fist, and the Mana Void will finish him off. Nicely caught by the Slayer Fist, and the Vision, of course, brought as well there. So that's maybe a tower going away, VirtusPro. They need something, though. They need to get some early advantage. But in comes Ace again. He's got his Stampede ready. No, not his Stampede, but he's got his Hoof Stomp ready, rather. And to be honest, him just running at someone could almost count as a Stampede, as the... Ooh, he does not get the stun up. Now he gets it, but it's too late now. Dunked by an S. There we go, and they continue on the tower, while Jottam is actually taking a large beating from the...
Oh, they can't go on G here.
Yeah, from the tower. That's gonna be a tower, and that's good for they really need this kind of early game goal. They might not have really won the fight or anything like that, but they got something out of their rotation. Meanwhile, though, Rise almost finished it with his relic.
Yeah, and this is the thing that I was talking about, is that VP, they need some items up before the side of MYM managed to farm up, because MYM at this stage of the game, you know, without any items at all, they're just naturally faster farming heroes. Storm Spirit, very good AoE. Rise, very good AoE on the Naga Siren. And, you know, Anti-Mage, of course, he's a very fast farming hero, one of the fastest once he's got himself a full Battle Fury, but he's miles away from a Battle Fury at this point. He's had to go Treads first, he's got himself a Ring of Health, so he's going to farm up okay for now, but this Naga Siren is going to have a Battle Fury.
Ooh, Arsart, again, that Static Storm is so painful for him, and that's Disruptor on the killing spree. 3-0-1 now for crit. But that Static Storm constantly knows how to find Arsart, and he just... What are you going to do as a Timbersaw, right? How are you going to get away? You're not going to get away.
Yeah, I mean, the Timbersaw, the only thing he can do is maybe, you know, he's building up a cloak now. That'll make him a little bit more survivable versus it. He'll still probably die during the duration of it. Maybe he'll last a little bit longer, but really, he needs something like almost a Yule Scepter. That would get him out of it and give him a chance at least, but it's not ideal because it's not a good tank item by any stretch of the imagination. It does help his mana, but it's fairly expensive for what it is, and he's mostly just using it to survive Static Storm.
Yeah. Ace saying Sack and Ness instantly also Sack. We've got a smoke up, by the way. G and Jottam moving towards the bottom lane. We saw drawing that they want to try and take down either Link or crit. It's not easy targets. I have to say it's kind of risky, although they know that the Static Storm is on cooldown, so perhaps they can make something happen. And Axe is actually on his way as well. And on top of that, Axe is actually sitting on 1700 gold. That means that he's close to his Blink Dagger. Also means that if they start losing fights from this point onward, things probably are not going to get better. But if they win the next fight, if they get a kill there, if Ines gets his Blink Dagger, there's still hope for VirtusPro to be as greedy as they want to be and have it pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like VirtusPro's lineup is terrible, it's just that they did definitely struggle to farm in the lanes, and they just didn't have any lane presence. That said, MYM, they know exactly what's happening here. The Timbersaw is coming as well. The only people they don't know where they are is this Visage, as well as this Ember Spirit. It looks like they're going to go for Rise here. This is an important kill. It will slow down his Radiance just by a little bit.
Yeah, the chains go on the wrong target, though, and that's going to be putting an end to that one. That's a Relic ready on Rise, by the way. No recipe yet, but he's pretty close by. Just a couple of hundred gold needed.
Very close. I mean, VirtusPro, I feel like they're doing the best thing they can right now. You know, they obviously cannot guarantee that they're getting the kills, so at the very least, they force MYM back, and they're going to take another tier 1 tower for this. And this is basically just an added immediate injection of gold, and that's something they very much need at this point because their items are very limited. G has just got himself Phase Boots and Drum. Arsart has got Arcane Boots and a Cloak. There's nothing on there. Nothing on the Visage. The Axe is going to shortly have his... Yeah, he has his Blink Dagger now. Centaur, so this is the point where their initiation is good. Yeah, but Centaur also has his Blink. So this is very dangerous for both of them.
Yeah, they're gonna try. With that Blink Dagger, they're gonna try. NS, he's already getting nuked down though. That Chain Frost is already killing him. Nice. Nice shackles coming off. Nonetheless, though, G is forced to back off. And actually still gets hit by the Chain Frost and bounces off on Jotum. Now in comes this Ruddick, Static Disruptor, Static Storm, Kinetic Field, Jotum. Stuck and killed. And that's gonna be 4 dead. Only Antimage to make it out alive. Antimage, what are you doing? Dude.
Whoa, Illidan.
Dude. That's so not cool.
I'm not sure what the plan there from Illidan was, but...
Suicide.
Yeah, I mean...
His plan was suicide.
Apparently so. His plan was bad. It is pretty much the assessment. Yeah, VP, they just don't get quite the initiation or the coordination they needed, and... Nagasiren, she has her Radiance now coming on the courier. This is 15-minute Radiance. This is pretty fast. About as fast as you can expect to get it in a pro game, and... VP, they don't have anything up. They have Blink on Axe. That's pretty much it as far as items at this point. The Ember Spirit is even forced to go for a BKB first item here.
And the thing is, that fight top, they had an S with the Blink Dagger, and he was so happy to trade out that he jumped in before the rest of his team was there. And Lich Ultimate is just perfect for that scenario because, you know, it just bounces around and makes everybody split up, while VirtusPro has got 4 melee heroes. So, you know, go figure. What's everybody dying to? Is this just of the illusions? Look at that. Riptides and Radiance Burn. In the meantime, there's a storm that jumped up on Illidan. That is the Orchid ready for Link. This could be the beginning of the end. This could just be VirtusPro being too greedy in this game and it being quite over for them, perhaps.
Yeah, and the funny thing is this game is close still. But, like you said, it certainly feels like the beginning of the end at this point. Nothing is going to stop this Nagasiren from farming fast with her Radiance now, other than perfect initiations from VP, and in the meantime, MYM, everybody else is going to be farming. Like you said, this Lich Ultimate, every single time it's been used, it's pretty much forced a fight that MYM have just completely destroyed in every time they use it, and they have an Orchid up on the Storm as well. Suddenly, all these items come up all at once, and VP just don't have any way of doing this. They had a lineup that simply couldn't farm fast enough in the early game because they had no lane presence is the big issue for me. Nobody in their lane could stand up and just dominate that area. They pretty much lost all lanes.
Yeah, it looks to be like... I said it in a game before, as said, they picked Spirit Breaker last and they still managed to dominate in the end, but... yeah, this time that Axe pick couldn't make a big enough difference to make up for the greediness of the rest of their heroes. And then also with Boots of Travels up on the Naga, really what's gonna stop Major Makers from stopping the push here on the... from pushing here on the top lane? They have taken out all tier 1 towers, only 2 tier 2 towers left standing. VirtusPro, they know they cannot fight this, so they're trying to take some towers of their own. They still don't have a Battle Fury on Illidan. They still are struggling for having Timber Saw with any items whatsoever. He picked up an Ogre Club, but we don't know what's that gonna be just yet. And
I guess it's gonna be BKB.
well, yeah, but I mean...
BKB will not save them that much this game. It'll give them a chance versus the Storm Spirit and the Disruptor.
Especially.
But that's about it.
And it won't give them a chance against the Disruptor. Oh, Glimpse and Stomp. Ooh, that was just in time. He got out. Or did he? I mean, oh, and Ness did not get out though. Link jumped forward, gets the kill. Stampede goes up as well. Jada might be in some trouble. Summons himself some new birds. His anti-mage actually jumps back in and actually gets 1 kill. Might be getting another, but he gets stomped upon. He might just have suicided. He'll go down. 1 for 2. I like that he came back in to try and take the kill because he saw that Storm Spirit zipped in from such a long range, but that is not worth throwing your life away for. G running back into this with the rest of his team as well, but the song will stop the initiation. The tower will get picked off. G's still running, still getting glimpse back, still gets a Searing Chainsaw though, up on Ace actually, but it is only level 1 or level 2 right now because he turned level 11, but it's only level 2 chains, so he can't really do that much about it, so that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, and the thing here is that, you know, G has actually played fantastically this game. A lot of the time he's been dodging a lot of spells with that. I mean, he just dodged Glimpse. That's not exactly the easiest one to dodge, but he's not able to do enough for his team at this point. The Timbersaw now goes down here to the Nagasiren, and that was just her illusions. Rise wasn't even actually there, and Storm Spirit's going to go in on G here. He's got this Orchid. G's probably going to go down.
Yeah, there's no way. The Soulburn will take him out. And At this point, Link can probably jump anybody and get a solo kill out there, as Axe actually tries to go up on Rise. I don't think this is a brilliant idea, but, well, Stampede comes out, saves the Naga. He didn't have Song, didn't have mana for Song anyway, because he got mana burn, but in now comes Unicorn. He is actually a Lich, support Lich, but he's on the front lines. Well, I guess the illusions are on the front line. NS might actually die
NS
here.
might even die to
if
this.
Unicorn
he
gets,
might actually die.
he will die. There we go. Boom. Long
Wow.
range Chain Frost doesn't chain, but gets the kill. It's of course way longer range than the Frost Blast is. So nice kill for him. And at this point, the gold graph is getting kind of out of control. Same thing goes for the experience graph. And well,
I just feel like VP. I mean, you can even see it in the gold graph. For the first 15 minutes, they're losing a bit. Alright, it's not good, but it's, you know, considering that they have good mid and late game, they can certainly, you know, farm their way back into the game. They have a chance. And then at the 15-minute mark, the change in the angle of the gold graph is just, it's a big change. And suddenly they start losing a lot more. They end up losing, you know, 10k gold in 5 minutes, whereas previously they'd lost 5k gold in 15 minutes. And yeah, VP, they just don't have any way of fighting back right now. They can defend base for a long time, and they can try and farm up, but eventually, right? Yeah, there's a Naga Siren. You need to be able to punish this Naga Siren, and VP just didn't have the heroes to deal with it. I feel like the big issue for them is they had an Axe, and Axe is a great hero in some situations. He's not a fast jungler, and he is not a jungler who can be like, alright guys, it's 2 minutes in, I can run out and gank now. He can't smoke gank at 2 minutes. He has to do it when he's level 5, you know, maybe level 4. And he was level 3 when they really needed him to gank, and at that point, VP just, you know, their lanes just fell apart, and MYM now, they just have complete control of this game. Like you said, Link can kill anybody he wants to. He's going for BKB now, so he's going to be invincible as well, and Rise is farming up an absolute storm. He's going to have a Manta style pretty soon if he wants it. Anybody that gets caught out as well out of position is going to be pulled back by crit. I just don't see how they can come back into this.
Illidan finally picked up his Battle Fury, so perhaps there is some chance there. Well, there would be if they gain control back over their jungle, because at the moment the jungle is completely Meteor Maker's, well, basically a domain. But VirtusPro, their farming space, like they've got greedy heroes, all of them. They could potentially turtle this, but the difficulty is Meteor Maker's actually got a very decent lineup to actually go high ground, because they got a Centaur that's pretty fat that can just jump in and crush and just hoof stomp and basically stand there, get hit on, and VirtusPro doesn't have the damage to take him down, while the rest of Meteor Makers will come in behind him. So they've got a pretty good late game squad. However, it is Dota. VirtusPro could still hope that Meteor Makers is just not that good in decision making in terms of later game, which potentially could be happening. So that's their hope right now, that Meteor Makers will play this passive and will give VirtusPro time to farm.
Yeah, and MYM are doing that at the moment, and VirtusPro, they're making good use of their space. The nice thing is that actually Arsar is actually making space on the bottom lane, and it's forcing MYM to sort of break apart. They're not deciding to break the base right now, and this is giving them an opportunity. They're going to go on Ace here, but he's incredibly tanky.
Yeah, it's not the right target to go on. Even the Soul Assumption barely scratches the surface there on that Centaur, who's sitting on 2,800 gold, already has his Hoot, already has his Blink Dagger, which are basically his core items. He did die 3 times of his team. I mean, there's only 9 kills of VirtusPro, so they managed to kill him off quite a few times. But that just means that the rest basically hasn't really felt the wrath of VirtusPro at all.
Yeah, and like you said, Ace is incredibly rich at this point. He's got 2,800 gold. I would get his best option
army, the
is
spirits.
Yeah, BKBs on everybody right now, and that is going to be a crucial item. An important item, of course, for this MYM team is if they get the pipe on the Centaur, they could probably break the high ground right now. Of course, VP, they do have good high ground defense. The nice thing for them is G on his Ember Spirit. It's a great hero for high ground defense. You spam out Sleight of Fists every 6 seconds, and the Timbersaw as well. Level 2 Chakram, it'll cut down those creep waves pretty fast, but it looks like a VP, they're either going to go for this tier 2. If they get this and VP don't defend against it though, MYM could probably just even go further.
Yeah, it depends on what they really feel like doing. If they feel like they are winning a fight, perhaps they want to take the fight, go high ground. But if they don't, they could always just go for Roshan and play it safe. I wouldn't be surprised at that, as Link actually is planning on jumping in. He finds himself up against his BKB counterpart. Ace jumps in, gets a searing change, and it's gonna be a Ness that's gonna feel the wrath first. Gonna be the first death there as Arsar is stuck in a kinetic field. Static Storm, he is dead once again. The Mana Void actually comes out. Link will still take a fall, so it's a 1-on-2 right now. But the Timbersaw, he bobbed back. He's gonna be back in this, gets a kill. In comes the Song, and Rise is just gonna stand there, teleport out, and Blink and
great
teleport
bird stuns.
for it. Oh, great.
They might still get him
They
here.
are
It's hard to
looking for
chase
him.
him down, but they're gonna do the best
They
they
have
can.
got a
If they get
lot of
Rise,
blinks.
this is huge.
And yeah, searing change, that's gonna be a kill, should be a kill. Ember takes it, and that actually turns into a 2-on-2, a 3-on-2 rather, because Timber died, bought back, but that was worth buying back for. He's, by the way, 181, so that's kind of sad. But nonetheless, they got the Naga, they got the Storm. I mean, getting Liches is probably just a bonus kill. If they get this Roshan, though, this could be used. Like said, they've got a decent turtle lineup. If only Meteor Makers makes mistakes, which in this case, their mistake was to get baited into a fight before taking down the tower. And perhaps not counting on the BKB on the Ember Spirit as well. Are you still there?
Yep, sorry.
Roshan!
Yeah,
Ember takes it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's about as good a situation as can come for BP. And that does show one of the weaknesses with MYM's lineup right now is that other than the Centaur, and the fact that Centaur didn't actually go for Pipe, he's going to go for a Heart instead. A great item on the hero, but I feel like a Pipe would really be the option for them right now. But their Naga Siren is still relatively squishy. She's not got a huge amount of HP right now, and VP, they're very mobile within the fights, but Illidan, oh, he's going to go down here. Link just spotted him out then and instantly blew him up.
Double damage rune doesn't hurt. Well, it does hurt to the anti-mage. Wow, I said that twice in the last few days. But double damage rune is nice for Link, not so nice for anti-mage. They've taken down all the outer towers. Never mind, they still, of course, got that tier 2 on the bottom. I'm actually surprised they go then on the top lane, because I would expect them to go on the bottom lane to
They're
try and
just
still take out the
splitting
tower.
up. Rise is actually here, and
Yeah.
unless the Timbersaw does a lot of work here, he's probably not going to stop Rise from taking this, especially because he has, you know, a Manta style up now as well. This tower will go down eventually, but the thing is that it feels like MIM, they're a little bit stung by that. They've been... One of the issues that this team has been criticized for is that they have struggled to finish games that they've been well ahead in, and it's happened a fair number of times, so maybe that's the issue for them right now. They're just struggling to find out how to go up the high ground, but for the moment, VP, they're not doing badly. They are got forced to go BKB as a second item on this anti-mage. I mean, he is not having a good time at all. Illidan's had a couple of questionable blinks, and he's also had a couple of great blinks and mana voids, but for instance, in that last fight, actually, I think the big turnaround in that fight was actually the Mana Void. It hit on so many people, because the AoE on Mana Void is absolutely enormous now. It's not something I've really seen much of since the change, but I love how big it is. It's huge.
Well, I only, like, the thing is, the radius is 450, but I only see the cast radius, so it's a bit of a shame how close you have to be. But 450.
You basically just have to actually see it in action to see how big it is, but it really is huge. And looks like this Disruptor might be in a little bit of danger here.
There's gonna be
He's going to
though.
try.
Oh, he's actually gonna teleport out. That's not a good choice. He should have just glimpsed him.
He should have glimpsed and then TP'd, or glimpsed and then hidden behind a tree and TP'd.
Yeah, that would have been a better option, but he just gets picked up just like that. That's extra gold for Ember. And actually, he's also starting to build up towards his Battle Fury, rather. Yeah, VirtusPro, they show us that they definitely still have a chance. For sure. If it's on the back of Meteor Makers making mistakes, or them just being all of a sudden very coordinated. That sounds really rude, but I mean, they didn't really show a lot of coordination at the start of this game. But yeah, it could be. They now have a a BKB on anti-mage now as well, so it's BKB army. I think it is a good item for them. It's of course not entirely amazing, because there is an ensnare for Naga Siren, but she only leveled that to level 1, so it's only 2 seconds disable. While the BKBs will last longer than just 2 seconds. They find themselves a Naga Siren. The song comes out, but the BKB already turned on by Illidan, and he cannot stop her from going away. He can't stop her from getting mana, though. Timber Chain, chase her down. G getting the Searing Change up still. The stun is stopped. Nice Static Storm. Link actually jumping in. G, way ahead of the rest of his team, turns on his BKB, still gets a Slay a Fist off, and they actually go for Link here. And Ness, who will live. Ace Also gonna be backing off, still gets a soul assumption to send him on his way, but nobody actually died here, which I think is in favor of Meteor Makers because they could have lost Naga, but on the at the same time, it just proves that this game has just been blown wide open.
Yeah, definitely, and this is what I was talking about. VP, they just need a couple of items, they don't need a huge amount. The big thing right now, and the reason why that fight is so huge, is because Naga Siren, she uses up Song, which is only on, I mean, soon, she's actually hit 16 now, so it could be on the 60-second cooldown. I think she misskilled, but it's, you know, it's basically on the 60-second cooldown soon, and she didn't use anything really for that. Whereas VP, they used BKB on the anti-mage, they used BKB on the Ember Spirit, and the thing that have carried them... Storm Spirit did use his, but he doesn't need it quite so much this game because there's not as much in the way of disables. Whereas on the side of VP, they need those BKBs to hang in these fights because whilst they're definitely fighting back and they're giving it a chance, they're still miles behind. I mean, look at the Naga Siren's net worth. It's huge compared to anybody else's on this map, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it's or better if you're, of course, the MYM fan. At the same time, this axe pick is not really paying off all too well. He is having a blink dagger, is great. He's maybe a bit of an initiator, but at the moment, he is one of those heroes that if he gets behind, he doesn't have the tankiness to initiate at all, so he's not an initiator anymore. So what is he?
He's still an initiator, he's just one that will immediately die. That's pretty much the problem for him.
Yes.
He is going to initiate, he pretty much has to for his team because they don't have much in the way of initiation. They have the Ember Spirit, Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains combo, but that's not always easy to hit. And MYM, they grouped up there to try and take out the Ember Spirit on the bottom lane, but G, good game sense there, just fire remnants out, and I've got to say, a big thing in this game is that G has been doing a lot of work for this VP side in this game, but I'm just worried as to whether it's enough. Maybe he can get a couple of Battle Furies up, that will help with these Naga Siren illusions, but Naga Siren's illusions, they've got Heart now, there's probably going to be a Butterfly coming fairly soon. It just gets harder and harder. Rise is so farmed, this game.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. We don't have an Aegis anymore either, so that's going to be Ember healed up by his Aegis that he had, but nonetheless, Roshan will be one point that Meteor Makers this time does not want to give away. We'll see them fight for it most likely. They've also picked up a gem for the Lich, so they're going to try to choke VirtusPro a bit more, trying to reduce their farming space by taking away their vision, though they still have 3 wards up. They don't give the gem to the Naga before she splits, which is something that they should have done, I think, because then they can just easily counter ward. But you see these illusions, they're just so tanky, so scary.
Yeah,
they also have
tanky,
a blink dagger
they burn everything. Yeah, the Blink Dagger actually came out on the Disruptor a while ago. He's not had great item progression since then because they've lost a couple fights, and I mean, he's a Disruptor. He's going to be one of those heroes to go down. He's very squishy. Both teams actually have a gem, so map control is obviously incredibly... it's an incredibly big thing for them right now. And the nice thing is they do have the gem on the Visage, so he's going to be a little bit better for dewarding than, like you said, they only have the gem on the Lich on the side of MYM, and Lich generally is not exactly... He doesn't want to be in places where they need to deward. He's a pretty passive hero, but I guess the big reason they aren't putting it on the Naga Siren is she's going to be 6-slotted pretty soon.
Yeah. Perhaps to just do it once, to just get the aura on the illusions, and then...
Yeah, maybe even just do it for a few seconds, like you said. Put it on, then mirror image, Manta style, throw all your illusions across the map, and then give it back to the Lich. Yeah, I could see that definitely being an option for them. Yeah. I guess it's probably just...
Blade. Oh, he actually sold it, never mind. That's
he sold the Quelling Blade a while ago. Maybe he can get rid of his Aquila. That's going to be his next item that he's going to get rid of soon. And then if he picks up something after the Butterfly, which is coming up, that'll be him 6-slotted, and we're only 33 minutes in. He is incredibly farmed, and this is just what Naga Siren does, but normally you do this from behind.
Yeah. It's so... The gold graph, I mean, it's so sad for VirtusPro, because they finally start to look like they actually have a chance, but they're so far behind.
Doesn't even bump it.
25k gold, 20k experience, all in favor of Meteor Makers, and we've all seen Nagas do this before. I mean, at some point, even if VirtusPro will start to be strong enough to dominate the fight, Naga Siren will still be one of those heroes that just says, you know what, we're not going to fight, we're going to split push you to death, and it's actually going to work because I am a Naga Siren.
Yeah, the nice thing is VP, they do have good heroes for dealing with split push. They have, all their core heroes, actually, are pretty good for dealing with it. Ember Spirit can cleave down these waves with a sleight of fist. Of course, Battle Fury Anti-Mage will do it as well, and so too will the Timbersaw, but the big thing is that they keep on using these smokes here, and they still haven't caught anybody out with them, and VP, it feels like they're just powerless to do anything about this. Do you know what I mean? They're just running out of options here, and MYM are just slowly crushing out this map. The tier 2's here still not actually down, but it almost feels like a non-factor, because this tower is going to kill itself on Ace here.
Yep. It actually did. He was already walking away when it went down. But it's just, I mean, they want to fight. VirtusPro wants to fight. Of course, they want to fight with their initiation being perfect. Because then
Maybe
they
they'll
have the
wait
best
until...
chance. But they can't,
like,
MYM doesn't want to fight.
Yeah, and the fact is that MYM have way more ways of getting themselves away from the fights. They have the Naga Siren, of course. They have the Centaur's Stampede. They can use that defensively. And, these Naga Siren illusions all the time, they're farming up. And Illidan still does not have his Manta Star. Maybe when they get that, then VP will be completely ready for a fight. But they're still struggling immensely. And, I mean, the farm issue is really the issue right now. G has just got one Battle Fury, and you just compare his inventory to the Naga Sirens right now. She's finished up this butterfly, and she's already working towards her next item.
Yeah.
I just don't know how... They just need to find this pickoff, but they've used up so many smokes trying to, and they still haven't.
Now they also have a Heaven's Halberd on the Centaur, so that means that if one of the heroes of VirtusPro really gets big... For example, Anti-Mage, who is starting to look quite decent now with the Yasha also under his belt, they can just Heaven's Halberd him and make sure that he's not going to be a factor in the fight, because MYM, well, they're like, if they even are going to fight, I'm not even sure if they will. They don't need to. They've got the Manta Cell, Naga Siren. They do get a smoke up going. Meteor Makers is looking for people. They will find a 3-on-3 though if they continue. They need that Lich there as well. Oh, gee. Gonna try to get himself out. Ace there as well. Timber Chain away, but there's one hero left. NS getting a hex stop. Cannot teleport out. I mean, it's probably the best scenario for VirtusPro, because if you are gonna lose one of your 3 heroes that you had there, NS would be the best. He is the lowest level, lowest farmed hero on the map at this point. So they don't get that
NS
much
is... I mean, no offense to NS, but he's worthless as far as their lineup is concerned right now, and... Yeah, he's the perfect person to lose. He had plenty of gold. He does lose a fair amount, but he still has buyback, so they can still defend their high ground.
What do you
If
expect
VP
him to
had
buy?
lost a couple people, but on the axe,
Yeah.
honestly, just like a Vit booster, like any HP, just something to give him a little bit of time, maybe in the fights.
Do you think a Blade Mail might still be an option, or is that like? Because obviously he dies very fast, and we've seen that before. So he takes
I feel
a lot
like
of
Blade
damage.
Mail would not be much help. He's not got enough HP for a Blade Mail to help. He's got less HP than Storm Spirit right now.
No, Storm is
And
pretty
Storm Spirit
fat,
is
though.
not... I mean...
He's level 20 versus
Alright,
level
he's got
11.
less HP than the Lich.
Well, Lich is level 17, and Ness is still level 11.
He's got less HP than everybody. Blade Mail is not going
and
to be
he's
cost
also
effective.
kind of less HP than everybody because he's dead. They also catch out the Ember with that, though. Static Storm, Kinetic Field. No way to
And
deal
there's
with
no
that.
buyback on Ember. This is at the very least a lane of Rax lost, and versus very potent split push like a Naga Siren gives. This is a huge amount for them lost here. Illidan's blinking around trying to deal with just the illusions here.
Yeah, they're gonna leave that Rex to die. Well, Ines, he just fought back. He might be dying again. Ace actually jumps in. He is taking a lot of damage, but he is so very tanky with that heart. In comes Link, jumping around, gets Axe again because he was still there on low health. And Axe, of course,
BKB
go
wasted
for
for
a dieback.
Illidan here. This might be the end of it for them.
This could be. If they continue going, yeah, they call it. They don't want to do this anymore. I don't blame them. I want to say, I mean, Meteor Makers played this game perfectly. They did well. But VirtusPro, they just got outdrafted.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. The big thing for me was that they were running a jungler that can't do anything for at least 5 minutes, and he didn't do anything for at least 5 minutes, and by that point, MYM had already won all of their lanes. The Axe ganks were fairly effective. VP, they gave it a good shot, but the fact is that, MYM had already started getting themselves online by the time VP were even ready to try for ganking, and you can't be like that. Not in this current meta. You need to have people who can gank immediately, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we're gonna see Meet Your Makers again. See if they can take a game off of Aware, who is gonna be their next opponent. Again, so far, Meet Your Makers in the Excellent Moscow Cup is unbeaten. So they continue their run. They're gonna look to, of course, keep it that way up against Aware. We're gonna see Aware versus Meet Your Maker. The game is gonna start very shortly after this one, so stick around. We'll be right back with the second game of the 3 games in total that we will see tonight. So don't go anywhere.